Vag, vag, vag. What you gonna do when it's hot outside? Ooh, I know what. Listen to Vag. What you gonna do when the trains are down? Ooh, I know what. Listen to Vag.
I guess we'll just start right now because we did a little business. Hi guys.
Yeah. Hey
Welcome
guys.
to Vag.
Welcome to Vag. Hope you're having a good. Ooh, what's your shirt say? I'm the queen.
Queen City, Burlington,
Ooh.
Vermont.
That's a cool shirt.
I like it because it looks like I hang out in a
Biker bar
or an arcade, and I still am rocking Jeff Spicoli hair.
Ooh, I love it. You look very was it Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yeah, I'm like a little dude. I'm a horny little dude.
And you're getting it on with everyone. Are you fucking all the couches everywhere?
Everywhere. Louis has so many chairs and couches.
Imagine being a teenager and just seeing a new couch. You're like, oh, I can't wait to fuck that later.
There's so many crevices.
When everyone goes to sleep, I'm gonna fuck that couch.
That's why I was like,
the dirty little whore of a couch.
That's why I love that when Louis talks about if you have a 14-year-old son and you're not at home with him right now, he's fucking everything in your house.
I would think that's probably true. I'm probably never gonna have kids, which is fine because I don't know if I would even want them.
Yeah.
But my friend who has like a bunch of sons, I think she has like 4 boys. I'm like, oh, your whole house is like, gonna be a jizz fest when they get older.
Yeah, just dried up socks on everywhere. That's messy.
That's also just the one thing that money doesn't change. No matter how rich or poor you are, your kids are jerking off on everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't change if you're rich. They're just jerking off on more expensive stuff.
Yeah. Also, they just like, especially when you have boys, your grocery bill has to be an insane amount every month. They rip through food so fast, and then they bring their friends over, and then they eat. It's almost like having locusts come through and destroy everything.
Well, it's just like feeding the football team every day.
Yeah.
You're like, can I write this off on my taxes that I'm feeding all of these kids that are going through a growth spurt?
It is like feeding a football team every day.
And then also, I'm sure your tissues and your paper towel bill is just astronomical also.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like.
But I guess they're saving money on like tampons and makeup and nose jobs.
Plumbing, because girls tend to block the whole toilet with all their dirty tampons.
You mean that block? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's happening also. Tampon blockage.
Yeah. I know every time I go to a new apartment, the landlord has to be like, no, this only accepts toilet paper. Where you're like, I got it. I'm not gonna put my pads in there, George.
You're like, are you sure? I'm willing to test it out. I want to see what this toilet bowl can really handle.
It's out of control.
So that's nice that you're able to get away for a little bit.
I know. I keep joking about like where you're like, I keep trying to get to the protest, but I just can't get there. Like, I've been in the suburbs and now I'm back in the Hamptons, where you're just like, I'm just like an asshole.
I think you're just doing your due diligence of being a white woman. That's what you're doing. Keeping it 100. At this point, we're gonna go back into quarantine. I saw an article that said, I think it was Florida's numbers are up to 4,000 cases in the last couple of days. So basically, guys, enjoy your time because we're gonna go back in the house soon. I sound like one of those like your mom when she's like, wait till your dad gets home. You're gonna get the shit kicked out of you, but have fun right now.
Yeah.
Right now, all of our dads are away. But when they come back,
you guys are getting
back in the house.
Well, yeah, it's like this is like our spring break for quarantine. Like, all right, guys, You've got
Fuck
1
whoever
week
to
to
fuck
do whatever
whoever
you
you
want.
want to fuck. Go rob everything. Go march if you're a good person. Stay home. Do nothing. Do whatever you want to do. But you have 1 week, and then we're going right back to quarantine.
I know. I'm so intrigued to find out what's going to happen with the cases in about a week, because that's usually how long it takes to start popping up.
I would think so. I mean, I thought it was from probably Memorial Day because everyone was going out then. So that's probably what, 10 days ago?
Yeah.
I would say within another week, the numbers, especially, so we started protest here, what, about a week ago? So even here,
Yeah.
I'd say in about another week, we're going to get in trouble again and have to go back inside.
I know. I did see that Cuomo tweeted that he's like, we tested and only about 1% of what we tested came out positive. And he's like, that's good. So
It is
I
good,
don't know
but
if that's testing from the protest or just testing from.
I don't think the protest, because doesn't it take a couple of days to get it? I don't know how that works since everything is changing so quickly and the results aren't. I don't think the results are very accurate, because even if you get like an antibodies test or something, didn't they say only a couple of the tests were actually accurate?
Something like that. I know Joe found out that Mike Feeney had it around the same time that we hung out with him.
Maybe you're asymptomatic.
Well, that's what we were like wondering, because Joe hung out with him the day before, that you're just like, we could have been exposed to it and we have no idea. Mike Feeney said he felt fine, but his wife got hit hard.
Oh, interesting. So maybe if you guys got it, you'd just be fine also. That's the other thing too. So if you did get it, can you get it again? If you guys got the antibodies test, you can tell if you have it or not.
Yeah, I think that when we come back to New York, we'll take an antibody test, but
that makes sense.
For right now, I went flying yesterday and it was weird. So Houston Airport.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, Houston Airport was quiet, but enough business, but none of the stores or restaurants were really open except the Starbucks. Then I got to a layover in Charlotte, and that place, Charlotte Airport, you would never know that they were dealing with COVID. It was busy. But then when I landed at JFK yesterday, ghost town. Nobody was there. I felt like we were the only plane that arrived. Where I feel like maybe there's not a lot of flights going to New York. And then my flight was somewhat packed. It was packed, but both of the flights that I took yesterday, it was only, I managed, there would always be the seat in the middle that was empty, but other people didn't have empty seats. So
that was just by chance then. That wasn't worked out like that.
Yeah. But then you have to wear your mask on the whole time, but they were like, if you need to eat, you can take it off. And then you're like, well, that's pointless.
Yeah.
But I kept mine on the whole time.
Did they have a thing like if you have to fart, that's okay? I feel like you could probably
hold it in.
I think you could spread this through farts.
I think you can too, because I was talking about that with my family, that they were calling it the plume. Mm-hmm. So like, when you flush, all the shit particles kind of like get blown into the air, and that's called the plume. So I avoided.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I avoided any public restrooms in the airport. Even though I needed to go, I was like, I'm just not going to go.
Wow. So you went from, how long of a trip was that? About 8 hours from traveling from?
I went 8 a.m. till about, I landed at 3:15. So yeah, about roughly 8 hours, 7 hours.
You must have had to pee real bad when you got home.
I did. I just waited until we got here.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I was fine. I just made sure I didn't drink a lot of liquids.
Did you wear gloves and stuff, or just a mask?
Just mask, because I would have to constantly changing my gloves, and with the amount of touching and all that stuff, it still would mean that I had to have to still put on hand sanitizer. So I was like, decided not to wear gloves, and then I just hand sanitized every time I like moved to a new location or touched.
That makes sense.
I was gonna touch my face, then I would hand sanitize.
This is it's a new weird way to live. I don't know. I think people are probably getting a little bit comfortable now that like the numbers went down and we're all back outside for the most part. I think I think the numbers are going to spike again and everyone's going to be in a frenzy. Like I went to the store yesterday to get a couple of things and it was like not that busy, but like right around COVID time, the shelves were empty.
Yeah.
I remember for your birthday, you went to go get a cake and all they had left was lemon.
Yeah.
So like now I think the stores, it's so weird because did people eat all that stuff? Like I still have a whole bunch of stuff in the house. Do you think everyone ate all that stuff or are they saving it for the next round of this?
I don't know. I mean, that was the thing. At least we know that you could probably go to the grocery store at least once a week and you were going to be okay. So you don't have to like go crazy with the grocery shopping, but
you kind of know what to expect. I guess that's the thing. When this first happened, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what our lives were going to be like, if they were going to let us out. Like I didn't know any of that stuff. And now that I've been through it, you're like, okay, so you basically have to stay home, but you'll be able to get groceries and go to the pharmacy if you need to.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
I mean, like you and I said, we're getting used to living like this. We don't even want the quarantine to end.
I know when people are like, to know that maybe we start, like, because my plane flight, we'll see how it is if I get sick in a week. Then if I don't, then you're like, okay, then you can probably fly on a plane as long as you are taking proper precautions and just wash your hands and face mask it the whole time.
But I wonder if it's because a lot of people, so that's the other thing too. You're like, so if you don't get it, it's good, definitely. But if more people on the plane have it, do your chances of getting it increase? You know, so it's like, it's that too. Maybe hopefully nobody on the plane had it. But I guess if you have half the plane that has it and they're going to the bathroom and touching stuff and you by accident, like, I don't know if then your chances of it goes up because remember they said like the germs lived on the surfaces for a couple of days and then they're like, well, we're finding out that's not true. So you don't really know what to trust.
Yeah, I just assume what I gather from the last few weeks I've seen with all the experiments I've seen. Like one guy did one where he coughed into a petri dish without a mask and then he coughed into a petri dish with a mask and you're like, it's such a huge difference of how many germs without the mask than with the mask.
Of course. That's why when people were like masks don't help, I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah,
there's no way that is true.
Yeah, we're just like, if we're all wearing masks and it cuts it down so much. Then they're also like saying people were getting upset with joggers. And then I saw this thing where the science behind it, they're like, it would be literally, the guy would have to literally cough directly into your face at like a few inches in order for you to get contaminated. Because like somebody just running by you, he would have to directly just cough right into your mouth. But he's like, that's not really happening. So they're like,
no, that's not going to happen.
So they're like, we don't see any cases like that. From what I gather, it's just if I was sick and you or I were in an office and I'm talking to you closer than 6 feet for an amount of time, then you would get sick.
Gotcha.
Then there was another one that I saw where they're like, they did one tracking. It was at a wedding and they found out one person, how they contaminated everybody. And it was a lot within this row and nobody on the like north and the south side of it, but it was the east and west. And they figured out why is because they were sitting by an air vent that was just flowing the air in one direction. And that's why all the people with the one guy, if he just coughed once, all of his water droplets with the air conditioning spread it to all these people. And you're like, well, that makes sense.
Did you, I don't know if you told me this, I don't remember now, but they figured out how everybody in Italy got sick because they all went to a soccer game.
Oh, yeah.
And they were in that enclosed area. And I guess people had it and it spread really quick there.
Well, that's where you like worry about the protests because a lot of people are very close to each other. And I noticed that a lot of people had their masks off a lot, that it just makes you worried.
Well, yeah, if you're going to go to a protest, it's hard to scream with the mask on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I went to the store yesterday and I had to ask the cashier something. He couldn't hear me, so I had to take my mask off. So you're like, if I'm trying to scream at a protest, I'm probably going to have to take my mask off. Yeah. And I don't think the cops are wearing masks either.
No, I haven't seen that many cops wearing masks. They should make a mask that has a little microphone, like a
Ooh,
megaphone that comes out of it, so you can chant and people can hear you.
it's actually not a bad idea. Why don't you
I,
just make that?
I could.
I think
I
that
could
could
do.
actually be. You could probably make so much money right now if you somehow came up with it.
Yeah, I'd have
Do it.
to. I could do it. There's tons of wires over here.
There are a lot of chairs in that place. You could teach a class in there. That's like a child's dream.
This is the crazy thing about Louis' place. So he has a lot of money, but he has good taste. I like his furniture, but he just buys it and then he just keeps it. It's like kind of like a hoarder with great taste.
So there's just like random stuff that's not needed, but it's nice.
Yeah, but everything's just kind of like I don't strewn about. Like there's no organization anywhere in this house.
Why don't you just organize it while you're there?
It's something that I would like to do, but people get really upset when you start doing that stuff to their place.
I know. I was kidding. Don't do that.
Oh, okay. I mean, honestly, like I would enjoy trying to organize it, but like, I mean, he has, I have like a bag of wires that I cannot let go because I feel like I'm going to need them eventually.
I
Even
get
though,
that.
like,
Yeah.
he has them in every room.
Like a bunch of just random wires.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd appreciate it if you shaved his dog?
Well, he and Joe gave his dog a haircut the other day.
Oh God.
It looks so bad, and then you feel so bad for a dog that has they're like, they know it, you know it, and then they're just sitting in it and they're like, my self-esteem is so low right now because of what you did to me.
Yeah, and they're like, I'm definitely gonna pee on your bed when you leave.
Because
Do you ever see people? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, Louis told Joe if he went to the groomers and they did what he did to his dog, he would have them fired.
Well, why did he do it to his dog then?
Because he doesn't know how to cut dog's hair.
That's hilarious. I was given Zuzu's toenails are like her nails are really long, and I've been trying. I bought something off of Amazon.
Yeah,
and it's basically like a little machine that you put the nail in, and there's like a little grinder, and it slowly grinds it.
yeah.
She's pretty good, but she doesn't love it. But it takes so long. So she basically has like 3 short ones, and the rest are long.
She has like a cocaine nail.
Yeah,
like,
so she could just do her cocaine on the weekend still while she's out with her buddies.
So funny. I like the idea that you got her a bowl so she'll stop eating fast. Now you're cutting her nails. Like she's gonna come out of quarantine looking amazing.
I think at first she loved me being here. Now she can't wait for me to leave. I also got her stuff to give her a bath, and she's not going to be happy with that either.
Oh my goodness. What do you do about a dog's breath? Like Rosie's breath smells so bad.
I mean, it depends. It's like Zuzu's breath stinks because she likes to enjoy shit. She eats shit like it's a fancy caviar. She just can't get enough of it. So you really got to keep her away from the shit.
It's like an acquired taste. She's like trying to make it seem like only rich people eat their own shit.
Yes, like she goes outside and with her snooty nose up in the air is just chomping on logs. Yeah. I don't know even if your dog doesn't eat shit, their breath still stinks, so they might as well eat their own shit.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing you can really do. There's nothing you can really do about it.
I mean, that is so funny that dogs eat. They lick turds. Like they're just like.
I remember, and not only does she like her own, she likes other dogs too. She has the type of palate where she really likes to try new other dog poops. So
you like, if you're really good, I will let you go eat other dogs' turds today.
I'll let you take a sniff, get a little licking. Sometimes I'll catch her and she knows she shouldn't be doing it, and she'll just be like a little cohort where she just gets a little licking. Like,
yeah, she's so excited.
she loves it so much. Yeah. I remember when I first got her. Now most dogs try their poop one time and then they are like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Zuzu tried
Nothing
it, was
do.
like, she was like, I couldn't love anything more.
It's
And
like
I remember,
alcohol.
yeah, I remember when I
Even.
first got her, and then I was like, I couldn't get her to stop eating shit. No matter what I did, like you could use meat tenderizer. There's different things you could do. Put pumpkin in their food. Put pineapple in the food, because I guess when it comes out, it tastes gross.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like pineapple. She wouldn't eat pineapple. Isn't that crazy?
That is really weird. I love that pineapple makes cum taste great, but shit tastes bad.
It makes dog food, yeah, it makes shit taste really bad. So listen, next time Joe eats pineapple, taste some of his shit and see what you think.
Wait, I like the idea that like pineapple makes cum taste really great. Like there'd be such a huge difference where you're like, God, guys should be eating more pineapple more often because their cum tastes so good when they eat pineapple.
So I think basically it just means that shit on its own is delicious. But when you add pineapple to it, it really takes the taste down. It makes it bad.
What happens?
But I remember when I first got her and I was like so upset she wouldn't stop eating shit. I mean, she's stopped now for the most part, but you have to watch her.
Did you take it personally as if you were like?
I had that joke about how she's like an autistic kid. Like you want to love her, but she's ruining your life. Like that's what I felt about her.
Yeah.
And I was on these message boards with these other pet owners who couldn't get their dogs to stop eating shit. We were just like so upset. Talk about white problems. We were, and I remember there was this one guy who was a doctor and he couldn't get his, I guess, schnauzer or something to stop eating shit. And I was like, if this doctor can't get his dog to stop eating shit, there's no hope for me. I'm just like a paralegal. And I gave up. I just started letting her eat her own shit. I was like, I give up. There's no hope for me.
Let her eat her own shit. She'll learn her lesson.
No, she'll just get a belly full of it.
I like the idea that you're on a message board where everybody's talking about their dogs eating their own shit, and you're like, can I just take a temperature of the room? How many in here are white?
And how many of you are named Karen? Do you think we should change the Karen name to another name? I feel like Karen at this point is such a hacky name. I remember I did something with the white woman that was annoying and I called her Jill. I feel like that's a good new white lady name.
Jill works. Barbara,
Terry. I like Terry.
I know. Or Judy. You're being such a Judy right now.
Especially Judith.
Yes.
I used to work with this lady, Judy, that was the most annoying person I ever met. She was like 40, 45 maybe, and lived with her parents still. And she was a manager in this dermatologist I used to work for. And she only ate kosher stuff. I mean, she was just, everything about her was so annoying.
Yeah.
Imagine keeping kosher.
Yeah. That's hard. I can't do any of that.
No way. Do you think Jews were keeping kosher during the Holocaust?
Maybe they lifted the ban where they're like, we got to eat some stuff.
Do you think they were like, maybe they're like, we're just going to turn the other way. We're not going to look.
Yeah. I'm sure they're like, that's not, I don't know. A big
I'm sure.
I'm like that with vegans. As you said, like how many, if we're in an apocalypse, are they really going to just stick to their diet? Like I can't, if I'm on vacation, I can't stick to my diet because I don't want to be an annoyance with other people.
It's so hard. I like how you were doing, what was it, keto, and you went to a Mexican place and the only thing you could eat was sour cream.
Yeah. Just like little bits off of every, yeah, you're just like this. It just looks like I have an eating disorder in front of everybody. Like this is ridiculous. Or
it's hard. It's hard to stick to a diet, especially when you're on vacation. If you're like, even in quarantine, like my diet's been so bad. I started walking a lot again, which is good, but like, it's just hard.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm stuck in this little apartment and I'm 5 seconds away from the refrigerator at all times. Look how close I am to you're bored, and look how close I am to the refrigerator right now. It's right. Did you see it?
Yeah.
You
should put it outside.
Put it out. That's a good idea. But I can make myself a sandwich right now if I want from the couch. Like this apartment's so tiny. There's nothing to keep me from eating a sandwich right now.
It's literally one time I went to Montreal and I was trying to still stick to keto, and I went to Subway sandwich, and I made the guy put tuna fish in a little cup as if it was like ice cream, and I felt like such a huge weirdo that I was
Why
like,
didn't you just have it on a salad?
oh, they didn't I don't know why, but it felt like they didn't even have that option, or I just wasn't
Oh,
thinking
wow.
that way. And that was the time when I was like, oh, when you're trying to keep up with a diet, sometimes in certain situations, it just sounds like you're explaining an eating disorder and making people enable your food
I like
issues.
I like the idea of ice cream and an ice cream of tuna fish and an ice cream cone.
Where you're like,
You're like, it's so creamy.
I love this tuna fish ice cream. Yeah. Also, have you ever noticed this? If you're staying with people and you're trying to stick to a diet, they're such assholes about it. People with other people about how you eat, they're so nosy about what you're eating, and they have their ideas of what you should be eating.
I like anytime I lose weight, because my weight goes up and down all the time. People are like, what did you do? And I'm like, what do you think I did to lose weight? Do you think I was eating pints of ice cream, or do you think that I was stopping eating pints of ice cream? There's really no trick to losing weight. You just have to eat less and move more. That really is it. Like, you can do any
there's
type
no
of
fast
diet.
way.
Yeah, you could do keto, you could do low fat. Like, I remember I did low fat as a kid. I lost a lot of weight. You could do any of that stuff. It works. But once you stop doing it, like anytime someone does keto and they lose like 30 pounds in a month, and then the next week they eat bread, they're back to that weight already.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to really commit to not ever eating bread again.
Yeah, and I have to say, I don't know what it is about bread or just eating carbs. It really fills that like deep hole that you have in your soul.
Yeah, it makes you feel like being molested's not bad. Like, you're like, I thought about my molestation, then I ate a whole loaf of bread and I felt so much better.
And
that's
what's wrong with
bread does
that?
for you. How come there's no commercial like that for bread? For Wonder Bread? They're like, I was thinking about my molestation as a child, and then I just ate this whole loaf of bread with butter, and now I don't care that I got fucked by my dad's brother. Like, who cares?
It doesn't bother me as much. Thank you, Nature Zone.
Right. So, and you could do that with anything.
Yeah.
Drinking, drugs, shopping. Like, I know you said you miss shopping.
I miss it so much.
I miss shopping too. And I was going to buy a pair of sandals, and I was like, for what? You're not even going out.
You can't.
There's like I mean, I could buy them now for next year, I guess, but like, where am I going to wear them to walk Zuzu?
Yeah, and you don't know. Maybe you'll be tired of those sandals by next year.
That's true. Also, you could just buy stuff and return it. That also takes up a lot of time.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
something to do.
When I was living with my mother had boxes. Like, it looked like a UPS store. There were so many boxes of stuff everywhere. My mother will order something and get it in 7 colors and 7 sizes to see what she likes. And then the UPS guy, she'll do like where they pick it up at her house. That guy hates her.
Yeah.
She makes him bring so many boxes back. Like, ugh.
It is a personality trait, because I don't have that, but I know some of the ladies in his family, they're all about returning stuff. For me, I'm like, I'd maybe rather sell it at a less rate to Poshmark or something, or sit on it for a year and see if I can, or
force your way into using it.
Yeah, force my way into using it, or I don't know, because sometimes returning something, especially in New York, you're like, it's so fucking difficult that I feel like it's not even worth it.
Yeah, I remember around Christmas time, I went nuts with American Eagle like sweatshirts and like jeans and stuff.
They have really cute stuff.
But what I did was I kept ordering so much stuff that I had like I had $400 worth of stuff to return, and I just went there with a big bag at the front and like waited, and then this lady helped me, and it took like an hour, and the place was so packed, and I didn't even care. Like, that's a real white lady thing to do.
White ladies love to return stuff.
We love to return stuff. I even caved and got Zuzu a stroller.
Oh,
I'm embracing being a full white lady.
That's what I was like, I get called it online all the time, and I want to feel like I'm cool, but sometimes you just have to accept who you are and then become it even more.
I was going on these walks with Zuzu, and she's like, I guess getting older and her legs are little. So after 45 minutes of walking, she just protests and sits down. So now I got her this little stroller, and it's not very cool looking. It's cute kind of because you just zip it up. No one even knows there's a dog in there. And I could just walk for like another hour if I want. I leave it in the car. Yeah, I'm just fully embracing being an older white lady.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you just have to, you have to accept who you are. Like, and like in Star Wars, you're like, I am Darth Vader. That's who I am.
Yep, I'm just gonna
And
yell at people.
I'm really good at it. Or you're like, in Breaking Bad, when he realizes he's just really good
At being an asshole.
At being crystal meth. Yeah.
I'm tearing through TV shows, which is nice. I'm just like, I'm on to Ozark. Have you watched Ozark?
No, I just I watched Killing Eve with my mom and my sister, and I really enjoyed that, and I think you would like it. She like kills everybody, and she's so funny about it.
Oh, Marlene, our manager, told me I should watch it. I'll watch it after. Now I'm on this show, but once I'm done with this, I'll watch it.
Well, I just think about like our TV show that will never get made. I'm just like, this is just as good. It's just as dark.
Yeah, I think by the time our show would even get made, like people hate cops so much that I don't even know. We would probably just have to get stabbed in the first season.
Yeah, we would have to make it like a porn for protesters.
Maybe. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why we have the luck that we do where people get interested and then they just flake.
Yeah, that seems to be normal.
I know. I'm so sick of all of this stuff.
Yeah, me too. That's why it's been kind of nice with the quarantine that we're just like, oh, no one's doing anything.
Except Mark Norman. Mark Norman is always doing something.
Yeah, I think no. We were like, wait, how are you selling a TV show? I thought they weren't making anything.
And he's like, selling a TV show? I bought a studio. I'm making my own TV show. And I'm also headlining 75 shows this weekend. You're like, Jesus, Mark.
During lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was I think he was in Texas as well, like in Dallas, Fort Worth area. And they said they were at full capacity.
That's insane. So they're not even social distancing?
Not really. I mean, when I was in Houston, shows were happening. I just didn't do them because I didn't want to make my family mad at me. But I think the ones that I saw looked like they were outside. But then there were a few that were inside that I was like, it's no different than beforehand. So people are going out doing stuff.
Because I think Bobby Kelly did a show, right? And
I looked at that and
it didn't look like they were really social distancing, although I couldn't really tell. It was like dark in there. But I don't know. I wonder if those shows in Florida, people are getting sick because those numbers are up to 4,000 now.
I have no idea. I just feel like I know what I gathered, Houston was getting more and more cases, but it wasn't anything that anyone was concerned about. They're not like on top of each other like we are here.
That's true too. We're so confined to small areas and there's high dense number of people. So yeah, I think by the time we're allowed to open comedy clubs here, we're going to be back in quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. But then I don't know. After all this, they're like, well, if we're just protesting, we might as well just open up.
I saw some good points though. Like somebody that I was friends with on Facebook was like, if we can have protests, how come I can't watch my niece graduate? And you're like, that's a good question.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of like, well, then Joe's like, can't we watch baseball? And I was like, why don't we just say it's a protest, but in the middle of it, there's a baseball game that's going on?
Well, in the stand, you could just be protesting.
Yeah.
We want a home run. That's your protest.
Yeah, we're all right.
I thought that they were going to bring sports back, but not have any audience. Like they would still play baseball and stuff, but there would be no fans.
Yeah, that's what I heard that too. But now, if you're having a group of people outside like you do with protests, then you can probably do that in a stadium if everybody wears a face mask.
Oh, well, I think what's going to happen after the protest, the number is going to skyrocket. So I think that the protest is how we used to get out of it, but I don't know. I think that we're going to go right back into this in about a week.
Yeah, it'll be intriguing to see what happens. It'll be really weird if nothing big happens, and then you're like, well, what did we do for 3 months?
If nothing big happens, that will be great, and then maybe we could all just get out. I watched something on Vice that was something about quarantine, and they were just showing like these people, like they had the eye masks, and then like 2 face masks, and then a shield.
Yeah.
Like, imagine wearing that much stuff in a hospital, and like you have all this PPE gear on. How hot you must be in that all day.
Yeah, it must be awful.
Like, I get annoyed wearing a bra, so I can't imagine wearing all of that other stuff on my face.
I don't like wearing the hand gloves. I find that very constricting. It feels very claustrophobic. I don't mind the mask, but the hand gloves I can't stand.
The mask is okay, but also too, like, even when I was at the grocery store, the cashier I had, I think his mask was like only over here, so like his mouth was out. Like, it's just we're all doing the best we can, and some of us are not doing the best we can. Some of us are doing we're doing the least we can do.
I have this theory in the last week or so. I feel like people have been a lot kinder, and I suspect that my face mask is really nice and cute, that it's hiding my bitch face. And so I feel like I'm getting a more positive response. So I might just keep wearing my mask just so I can maneuver through life a lot easier.
Well, what I like about the mask is I don't have to wax my mustache. So I'm going to start growing
full beard.
I'm going to start growing a handlebar mustache underneath my mask. So when I take it off, just to see people's reaction.
It's kind of like when you go on a date and you don't shave your legs, and then the guy sees, he's like, oh my God, it's like a fucking mess down here. That's how it is when we take our masks off.
There was a girl that did comedy. I don't think she does it anymore. I think she like got a real life and like got married and had kids. She had such a funny joke about not shaving her legs and something about like in the wintertime when you don't shave your legs and you take stockings off and your legs actually hurt. I know that feeling. Like,
yeah,
you take stockings off and the hair has just been stuck to you all day, and then it's finally free and it's like standing up like this.
I like that when I have my hair in a ponytail and then you let it out and go in the shower and you can feel your roots. And I'm like, I always think that feels like a good sensation, like a good pain.
I've like had my hair straight and I guess not washed it for a couple of days. Now it's clean, but I've done this where like you don't wash your hair for a couple of days and then you put it back and then you take the thing out and it doesn't move.
Yeah. It just stays there.
It's just stuck there.
Yeah.
And like a greasy mob.
Yeah, it's not attractive.
Definitely not. Also, like I brought hair dye to dye my hair and I'm like, for what? What is the point right now? First of all, I need a haircut.
I gotta get my roots done.
I think
you're right.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Let it grow out. Let it grow out into an ombre.
I might just do that. Well, it's like we were talking about like beforehand, right before it happened, I had just got my hair done. And then you're like, I'm really upset that I spent probably close to $300, if not more, on getting my hair dyed to be in quarantine the whole time when it didn't matter.
I think I bought a bunch of sneakers. Like I have cool sneakers that I really want to wear, and there's nowhere to wear them.
Yeah, there's no one. You can't wear them on stage.
You can wear sneakers on stage, but like when's the next time I'm going on stage? I think I have some shows in July that I'm supposed to co-headline with Sean Patton, but I don't know if that's gonna. I mean, it's in states where they probably would be open. It's like Kansas, Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they'll be open and what it's going to be like here. I don't know how these states aren't just scared of New Yorkers coming and bringing our cooties with us.
Oh, I know. Well, that's what I know. In the beginning, Rhode Island locked out New Yorkers from coming in. They're like, you guys can't, because when people were dispersing at the very beginning.
And you're like, Rhode Island, you're so small, we'll kill you all and just take over.
Well, yeah, it'll be like when the settlers came in and killed all the Indians because of not with violence, but with just our diseases.
And instead of having violence, we're just going to have our social media.
Yeah, so you're fucked.
Like Delaware, we could take Delaware. I think me and you could take Delaware over by ourselves.
Well, that's what my sister and I were laughing about. We go into my mom's town or where I grew up and just annihilate it because we come in from the outside. Like we could have COVID. And now it's also most of the people that live in Kingwood are like my mom's age. So they're getting like old folks home age that we could have just wiped them out
and taken it over. Just started up a new place.
And then named it after us.
I think you should get a dog. I think this is a great way to get Joe to like dogs, and then you just get one.
I agree. I could, because I really like Rosie and she's the perfect dog. And I could, for the beginning, I can kind of just foster a dog and get a taste for it.
Yes. Also, when you foster a dog, you could love it and keep it, or you can hate it.
Yeah, and then
I think it's the same
not
with kids. Yeah, don't you foster kids, and if you don't like them, you're like, you're out of here. We're getting another one. You suck.
I think so. That's really weird. Recently, there's this this girl blogger. She's like a family blogger. She and her husband, they're like these good Christians, and they have 4 kids of their own, but they made a huge ordeal about adopting this Asian boy. And they knew he had autism. I think they said he was like at a level 3. I don't know what that is on the scheme of things, but from what I gather, it's not that bad, but it's still bad.
I feel like a level 3 of autism is probably equivalent to like the level 3 of terrorism, which is probably like, be alert, but like, it'll be okay mostly. But like it's not great. Yeah, it's not great. He's not going to be a great kid.
Well, they had him for about 3 weeks and then they returned him, and people online lost their shit. They were like, you made such a huge ordeal about adopting a kid from another country, and you even mentioned that you knew he had autism, and then about 3 weeks in, you're like, I can't handle this, and returned him.
Well, you're like, look, people adopt dogs and they don't realize the work they are, and they're like, this is not for me. Also, like, wasn't this kid, they adopted him from what, an orphanage? So somebody else also couldn't deal with him. It's like, let's pass him around until we find somebody that's emotionally able to put up with this. Somebody who's like been to war, rich, and has a high tolerance for just nonsense. And I know people are going to get upset about that, but like, having an autistic kid is you need a lot of patience. I remember, when I was, I had an apartment where I had Marley, and I got there was a bunch of kittens that were born on my mother's steps, and somebody put them there, and I had her, and she was driving me crazy too. Like, she would take her shit out of the litter box and put it all over the house. This is before I had Zuzu. Zuzu could have just eaten it all. But she was making me so crazy. At one point, I had my hands around her like this, and I was like, I can't stand you. And I gave her back to my mom. And if that was a kid, it would be nice to know I could just give that kid to someone.
I know. And then if people knew, they would be like, you're a monster. But you're like, she's tearing up my house and she threatened violence to my other.
Yes. And you're like, she's right. So this is the thing. If you get a kid, before you tell people you're doing this heroic thing, keep it on the DL. See if you can even deal with it. And then if you can't deal with it, you give this kid back. Nobody knows you're like an awful person.
Yeah. I say that with most things in life. Do not broadcast it. Kind of like when people are like, I'm getting off of Facebook. I will see you guys later.
Just do it. Because if you want to come back, you know how many people have been like, I'm quitting comedy, and then they don't. What if Hannah Gatsby said she was quitting comedy? And then she put out this other special. And like, I tried watching this second special. Have you tried watching it?
No, I haven't gotten to it.
Okay. Well, I don't want to give it away, but it made me love her first special. That's how bad it was.
Wow. And you're like,
I think she did it so people would really just enjoy her first special. Like when she did her first special, I didn't think it was necessarily all of it funny. I thought it was needed and it was a good voice and a story to be told. And I think it's great it was out. It was more like a one-woman show to me.
Yeah.
But this next special, I got about 15 minutes in, and all she's talking about is how she talks about how it's not going to be like the first special, and how it's not, and it's all these things where you're like, well, just do it. Why are you laying this all out? It's so weird to me.
Yeah, I remember reading, there was a time period where all these like female comedic voices were getting book deals. And so I read a lot of them. And I remember reading Amy Poehler's one. And I just realized that she might be not that great of a human being. First of all, with running UCB and being like, can you guys donate money? These performers aren't getting paid or tip out the theater. And you're like, Amy, you've been in SNL and you Parks and Rec and been in a ton of movies that have made tons of money. Like, why don't, and this is your theater, why don't you fucking pay them? And then
somebody had to say that to her. You think not one person said that to her?
At least not to her face. It's probably been online. But here's the thing. So I read her book. I thought it was so bad because the whole time it was about how she didn't want to read it. Then she had Seth Meyers write a chapter of it. Then it was the whole book about how she just didn't want to do it. So you got nothing from the book, and it was nowhere near being funny or amusing.
Don't do it.
Right. And then so she made all this money for getting a book deal. I was thinking that I would read it and get some like fun little nuggets or anecdotes. Like Tina Fey's was really funny. I like Bonnie McFarlane's was good.
Bonnie's was really good. Especially, I like Bonnie's too because it was funny and also I know her. So it was very, like, it seemed personal where you know the person.
Yeah, because she doesn't give you much. So when you read the book, you actually find out more about Bonnie's life.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think that's maybe the only one I read.
And it was well written. I like Tina Fey's was really funny. It was kind of like reading a David Sedaris.
Yeah,
but Amy Poehler's was garbage. Like her book was called Yes Please, and I feel like it should have been called No Thank You.
Hilarious.
Right.
But yeah, try and watch Hannah Gatsby's thing. It's mostly her saying how it's not going to be like her first special, and it's not going to like lower your expectations. And you're like,
I should do that. I'm going to do that on my next roundabout. Like, guys, this probably won't be as funny, but just stick with me. So then the expectations are so low that they'll be like pleasantly surprised.
I just want somebody to take a chance on me blindly. Like, you know how people take a chance on people and it doesn't really work out? I want like someone to just blindly take a chance on me.
Like Gerard Carmichael, where they're like, let's give this guy a special. He's 2 years in. Let's make him a showrunner.
I want somebody to take a chance on me and be like, hey, she's 16 years in. We're going to take a chance. She's pretty new. Like, maybe it would have been better if we just go to LA and pretend we're new comics.
Yeah. Because this is the thing, like a lot of times I'll watch a TV show and I'm like, wow, that actress is really great. I read their Wikipedia page, like for the lead actress in Killing Eve. It was like, she was in a dance group. She couldn't make rehearsals. So she decided to just perform a monologue at her school, whatever, talent show. She did one monologue. Somebody was like, you should get into acting. They gave her a number. Then she went on one audition and started landing parts. And I was like, okay, who does this happen to? Like, this is such a bullshit where you're like, oh, how about let's put in the part like maybe she probably came from a wealthy family and she's attractive.
Well, that's not interesting to people.
I know.
Nobody wants to hear that, but it might be true.
If you read, like anytime you're watching a movie or a TV show and you're like, oh, I like that actress or actor, you look at their Wikipedia page and then you find out like, oh, they went to this preparatory school with blah, 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 like Harvey Weinstein's kids or something like that. And then they or their dad is a real estate developer. So they had all this money.
And you're like, oh, so you just also happen to be great at acting? Stop. There's no way you just happen to be great at acting when you're rich. Like, you just know someone who knows someone, and that's how you get it. Stop.
No, stop acting like there's recently Maud Apatow. She was like, my dad made me audition, and I wanted to make sure that I got this part for the right reasons. And so she got the part, but you're like, you think you got the part?
Wait, she thinks she got the part because she did a great job and not because she's Judd Apatow's daughter? Come on. I think she's even in like, I don't know which one is that. Is that the older one or the younger one?
It's the older one. I mean, she's good, but I'm just saying like the probability she went in as a blind casting call, she probably wouldn't have gotten it.
I mean, do you think she has like a Dove commercial or something? Do you think she got that just like she went in like all these other girls and they just happened to pick her?
Yeah.
There's no way. Also, Judd Apatow, if he wasn't Judd Apatow, he would have never gotten a Netflix special. His comedy's not great. He's a nice enough person, I guess, but like his comedy's not great.
Definitely.
So it's just weird to think that doesn't exist.
I know. That's why I like Jamie Lee Curtis. She, in an interview, because they were talking about, I guess it was down to this one other actress in Halloween. And she's like, well, let's just be honest. Of course I got it. I'm the daughter of the Scream Queen from Psycho. My family is Hollywood royalty. Like, they're just going to go with me. It's not like she was less of an actress.
Yeah, it's not like she's outperforming anyone.
Yeah, where it was just really refreshing to have somebody blatantly admit that where they came from definitely helped them. You're like, thank you. I'm just tired of hearing you really need to work hard. The reason why you're not getting things is because you're not working hard enough.
No, like even when I got like jobs, I'd always be like, hey, it's because my father's a degenerate gambler. We have no money. And that's how I landed the secretary job. I didn't just get lucky with it. Do you know what I mean? Like I had to work really hard at being mediocre in all aspects of my life to land the secretary position. So yeah, I think that definitely has a lot to do with all this stuff. You think all these cashiers are just getting it because they're great at their jobs? No, they just don't have a lot of skills. Yeah. You know, they're like, my family had a lot to do with this. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say, going back to the lady that adopted the Asian autistic kid and gave him back, and everyone on the, I guess, what was it, like a website or something? They were all like, was she on Reddit or something?
No, I think there's a lot of like YouTube, like Christian family bloggers that do really well. And she was in that group. And so it's a community and they make a lot of money doing this. Like my sister went to high school with a girl that does it, and they make their whole living is based on YouTube vlogs.
Why are we not doing that?
I don't know.
What do I have to do? Pretend to be religious?
We have to be religious, and then we have to adopt like a lot of kids. And then we also have to videotape it and then edit it. I mean, there is quite a bit of work, but like,
I'm sure if we paid Michael to do it, he would do it.
He would do it. Maybe we should just go on the road as a Christian family vlogger.
That's actually not a bad idea. How long do you have to keep the kids?
Well, with this girl, it garnered her a lot of attention. We'll just get them and then return them, and then people will get really mad at us, but then it'll shoot us up too.
I wish that I was that lady that adopted this kid and gave it back and everyone was giving me shit. I'd be like, hey, any of you could go get him. Why are you not adopting him? Like, I'll give him to any of you. And if nobody wants him, then it's like, you're no better than me. I tried something out. It's kind of like trying yoga and not liking it. You're like, hey, I brought this mat. I'm going to return it to Amazon after I don't like it. It's the same thing with this kid.
No one gets mad about that with me for that, you know?
You're like, I tried it out. First of all, I think if you go to adopt a kid, this is what I told my friend when she was thinking about adoption. I go, if you go to adopt a kid and there's like a white kid there that's a little bit older, do not fall for the trap of getting him. He has been returned many times. Do not take any older kids at this point. They've all been tried out.
Get them new.
Try and get him brand new, or like I wouldn't go get a white kid that's older and like 8 because he's been returned a bunch of times. Do you think you're going to be the person to change him?
Yeah.
No way. I would say I'm going to do a very mediocre parenting job. I need something that's easy. What do you have that's around 13 to 14 years old? That's
I need a starter kid.
I need an A student. Yes, a starter kid. An A student that's not going to jerk off all over my stuff. Also, that's the other thing too. If you adopt a kid and he's jerking off all over your house, there's more. I would be like, this isn't even my kid. He's jerking off all over all my stuff.
That's what she should say. She's like, look, you can have him, but just a heads up, he jerks off onto everything you own.
Yeah, and there's no getting through to him. There's nothing you can say to get through to this kid where you're like, hey, you gotta stop jerking off on everything. So wait, did this kid go back to China or wherever he was adopted from? They sent him back?
Yeah, he went back. I'm sure with the amount of like publicity about it, somebody took him in.
But that's insane. You know how long a trip to China is back and forth?
Yeah, it's long. We've done it so many times.
How old is he?
He's on the older side enough that he has behavioral problems that they're like, we can't fix this. So he's probably, I think he was around 4 or 5.
Ugh, that's gotta suck for the kid too, because just being put into all those situations where you're just like with another random person.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is sad. I mean,
not sad enough where I would try and raise the kid. Like, let's put it that way too. Like,
really,
I think it's sad. I mean, like, I think my nephew has some like learning issues. I think he's definitely on the spectrum, and he's adorable. And I'll try and hold him. And as soon as he starts screaming, I give him right back. Like, that's how much I'm willing to put in.
That's the amount of effort. I mean, that's a lot of work. I just think about anytime to have a kid with behavioral issues that also holds the family hostage has got to be so difficult to deal with.
Like, holds them hostage like he ties you all up and has a knife to your throat?
Well, meaning that like both parents are occupied by taking care of that one kid.
Cut your losses, man.
Yeah. Well, like
send him. I think we should be sending all our autistic kids to China.
That's how we beat them.
Well, that's how we get them back for COVID. We just send them all of our autistic kids.
You should post that online. See if it gets.
Do you think that'll get a lot of retweets? I think it'll get a lot of love.
It could just get squashed amongst the Black Lives Matter movement.
I was telling my my therapist, have you been talking to Alan or no?
No, I should because I have the money to.
Well, I was talking to him.
How
I was telling him that I just talked to him today, how it feels like anything you say right now is going to be used against you at a later time. So it doesn't even feel fun to, like, there's even times throughout this where like I'm thinking about what I'm going to say and how it's going to be perceived later because people will take everything out of context.
Yeah. Well, I had that yesterday because apparently over the weekend, that movie, The Help, was one of the #1 movies watched on Netflix, which is so funny to think that white people are like, let me learn a little bit more about racism. Let me watch this garbage movie about racism in the South. And you're like, that's not even one of the good ones. It's just fun. So I wanted to tweet. I tweeted, hey guys, I watched The Help over the weekend. I think I understand racism now. And I'm being sarcastic, but I was like, this could be construed as being like a shitty white thing to say. But I'm like, I'm playing.
It is funny though. But it is funny. But obviously, yeah, it's a joke. Obviously, we don't think that's how you're going to learn about racism.
Yeah. I mean, making fun that those people think that they're like, oh, I think I helped because I watched The Help this weekend.
Did you tweet that or you took it down?
I tweeted it, but there was a moment that I got really worried that I would have someone like one of our friends be like that, that's really insensitive to tweet that right now during this. And then you're like, well, no, I was just making a joke of those people that think that's helping.
I know, but there's people that they'll be like, they'll think you're not joking.
Yeah.
Like somebody got upset about a joke I did from like 6 or 7 years ago on Instagram. There was like some white kid from Vancouver who got upset with me for doing that joke, and they were trying to cancel me, this one person. And they made an Instagram account saying cancel Lappalucci. First of all, what good are they? They can't even get my name right. I'm like, how do you think? I wanted to give them a little help to be like, how do you think you're going to actually cancel me if you're not even spelling my name right?
Yeah.
It seems like you guys need a little bit more help, and maybe I should help them try and cancel me.
Yeah. Well, it's also, you're just like, look, I've already established myself as this kind of humor. So good luck.
Sure. Yeah. Good luck. Go get up. I mean, like, I don't know. it's also interesting to me when like young white kids who are very privileged want to come after other white people, especially a person like me who's lived in the Bronx my entire life. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
you're
like I've
in
had
it.
some, yeah, but it's not like I've had some cushy upbringing where you're like, you want to get upset about whatever jokes, R. Kelly jokes or school shooting jokes. It's just like, hey man, I'm going after everything. And if you want to get people to lobby against me, go right ahead. It'll only
Yes.
probably help me at this point.
Exactly. I mean, you kind of want that in a weird way. A little bit of it.
I guess maybe a little bit, but it's like they don't, and like they started out saying, we understand that comics like are making jokes. And then like I wrote something actually nice back to them because I was like, I'm trying to take Liz's approach where like you come from a place of being nice instead of like, go fuck yourself and die in a fire, which is like my favorite thing to tell people. So I wrote out like a thoughtful response to them and explained to them like, hey, here's some of also the other awful stuff that I'm joking about. And because they basically were like, well, we know that this is a joke. And then basically we're like, but we still think you're not allowed to tell a joke. That's like basically what they said. And you're like, well, that's not really how comedy works. Just don't watch my stuff.
Yeah, that's censorship.
It's just so weird. It's like, and that's the thing that I was talking to Alan about too, where you're like, it's becoming to the point where comedy is not fun to me. Even doing the podcast where like, you can't really say everything you want to say, even if it's as a joke, because people will go back years later and comb through everything you've said.
I know. Well, I think about that list that, what was it, Neruda and Elsa started online, that raises comics list. So I keep going to the list thinking that eventually they're going to listen to our podcast, even though I'm like, I think we're not that bad, actually.
You know what, though?
We're not Legion of Skanks or all those guys.
No, but like but also we're saying stuff comedically.
Yeah.
Like at no point are we ever being serious. I mean, except for like taking the autistic kids and sending them to China. That's, I think, a great point. But everything else you are doing for comedic value. Even like when Shane Gillis, everyone was upset at him and they got mad. You're like, I understand getting mad, but he was trying to be comedic about it. Even if you didn't find it funny, the intent was to be funny.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was doing a cooking show and then he just mentioned that.
Right. So I think there's some freedom though when he got like taken off of I would say Last Comic Standing. When he got taken off of Saturday Night Live, there's got to be a freedom where he's like, you know what? Now I can really say whatever I want. It doesn't matter. Whoever, like the people that come after people for stuff like that, they're never going to be your fans. They never liked you to begin with. They weren't coming to your show. So you're like, I haven't really lost anything. Those people that come after other people, they never are going to come to your shows. They're not going to come to your shows. They're not going to be your fans, but they still don't want you to be doing it. It's like, just don't listen to that person.
I know. What a lot of energy to make sure that you're not doing anything.
It's just such a weird thing. It's like, hey, you know what used to happen when I didn't like something? I would just turn it off or I would just go do something else. Yeah. I never as a kid wanted to stop, or like as a young adult wanted to stop other people who enjoyed it from doing it.
Well, it just doesn't sound like fun to be like, let me try to get other people to not like this. Like, how do you start conversations? Being like, hey guys, here's something that's going to make you really angry. Like
I think that
it's not a good personality type.
I think with the internet, it's so much easier to find people who are like-minded where you just put something out or you get a little bit of a following. I don't know. I guess you just find people who are like super to the left. I mean, I think also like just Trump has really made a deeper divide in the country, whereas like he could actually bring people together, but what his dumb speeches, they're always just like making people really grow further and further apart. He has no empathy, no basis to like help people come together. He's got, I don't know how he doesn't have anybody reading his speeches before he gives them.
I think he's like, this is my TV show and I'm playing to my audience. And it's like what we talked about with Gina, and she's like, oh, when you get upset, it's because that's not for you. He's not talking to you guys.
I know, but like and that's the thing as a comic, you're like, okay, I'm just going to talk to my people and like whoever likes my comedy gets it. But like even though people say
president.
Right. He's supposed to be speaking for everybody. Even if he only likes half of them, he's still supposed to be speaking for everybody. I don't know. It's just, he's so crazy. I don't know if he's just like insane or a bad person, or maybe he's all of those things, but just some of the stuff he says is just so insensitive where like you just see why the divide's getting bigger and bigger. And then like I don't know.
Well, what does he say about George Floyd is probably looking down and seeing that everyone's got jobs, that he would be really happy?
He'd be really happy that the economy's doing well. I'm like, maybe he's talking about a different George Floyd. Maybe there's another one there that he's talking about. Because that might be possible. Maybe he has a white friend named George Floyd that died that wasn't doing well, you know, in his like he crashed the stock market or something.
Well, that's
but
what we're like, yeah, he's just dead. He's dead. So he's not looking down, being like, God, I'm really happy that the economy is doing really well right now. And not like, wow, look at all this shit that's happening because of my death. That's such it's so tone deaf. It's so crazy.
The fact that he tweeted that out and somebody didn't, I don't know why there's nobody that like looks at his tweets after and just deletes them.
Yeah.
It's so insensitive. It's so mean. It's tone deaf. It doesn't get anything that's happening in the political climate to actually think that's like, what a crazy person to think that.
Yeah, like going back, remember what I was telling you, like I felt weird doing this tweet and he's like, send.
I think he must have, he thought of that and was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to love this tweet. Like, I don't know.
It'll calm things down a little bit.
Right. But you were like, I'm going to tweet this and I feel uncomfortable about it. And he's like, this is a winner.
I wish I had that sense of like confidence.
Maybe you would. I mean, but it's also such like unrealistic. Like he probably, if he was doing stand-up, he probably would shoot up to the top because he's so arrogant and thinks he's so great.
And crazy. It takes that kind of personality to just like, people will be like, this is a refreshing voice. He doesn't give a shit.
But like Looney Bird crazy. Imagine he did stand up.
Oh, I actually think we would probably really enjoy him.
As a comic? Probably, but not as like a leader.
Not as a leader.
Yeah.
No, it's insanity. I'm probably we're gonna have to wrap this up.
That's okay. I gotta take Zuzu out anyway, so she'd go eat her shit.
That's how you should end every set or conversation. You're like, I gotta go walk my dog so she can eat her own shit.
And everyone be like, woohoo, killer Joe.
That's what I was talking about, Joe. It has been fun. What was I gonna say? Oh, I don't know. Do you have anything going on? I have nothing.
I have nothing going on either. You can watch me walk my dog if you're in the Bronx 1 to 3 times a day.
On Instagram?
On Instagram, I'll be walking my dog.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Email us questions. We love answering questions.
Oh, we got a really nice person that wrote to us that said Ari, I guess, was talking about me or you or something on a podcast.
It was you.
She looked us up and said that she loved the podcast and became a Patreon. Thank you. I forget her name. I was gonna look at it.
Oh yeah, I forgot to, but I remember seeing that. But that was really sweet. That's
really nice. Thank you for joining, and all the nice people that have supported us from the beginning, and people who just finding out about us now. Thanks for listening, and
yeah, and I love all the comments on iTunes. We read those, so those are great.
Oh yes, those are very nice. All right, thanks guys.